Hello and welcome to this test drive of my two new cameras. Yes, I would like to thank you very much because with your support on Patreon and PayPal I finally got some new equipment, and these are the two GoPro sessions. I decided I need two more cameras for sort of sporty cars like this one where there is no place to install a big camera. Sorry for the sound because I'm also testing the sound quality on these two cameras. So anyway, there is obviously no place in a Mustang like this for two large cameras and a GoPro, so GoPros make much more sense. And secondly, it's easier to do quick recordings, to do some interviews with several people in the car. So this is why I decided to get these two cameras. Plus, these two are cheaper than one Hero 4 Black. You may have realized by now, by the sound this car makes, that this is a Ford Mustang V8, so that's the GT. It's quite fast, and I'm not going to be reviewing it today because I would like to do something else, and that's answer one of the questions I often get from you, and that's what car should I buy? I already made a video about what new car, how to pick a new car, what new car to pick, but I often get questions, what should be my first car? There is no right or wrong answer here, I guess, and it all depends on your social background and your environment, let's say. I mean, I'm sure there are social groups where anything less than a Mustang like this is inappropriate for a first car for a child. Loved child, obviously, but it's not a common sense choice, let's say. What I would suggest is something perhaps second-hand, something perhaps not so powerful. This thing has 421 horsepower. Perhaps something that you're not going to be afraid to damage, because that will happen sooner or later. And if it's a cheap car, it's not going to hurt so much financially or psychologically, because you're going to learn, okay? And as you learn, you will inevitably break things, and you will break your car because you will scratch it, because you'll dent it, because you may have an accident with someone. But do not be afraid. As long as it's a fender bender, it doesn't matter. It may matter for the other person, for the other party of the accident. So when I'm saying don't be afraid to learn, at the same time I'm saying don't be careless, because for other people this may be a problem, because their car has to go to the shop for a couple of days or weeks and you're just making problems for them. It's not the end of the world that you damaged a car, but it is an inconvenience for others. They don't care. So we've established that the car should be relatively cheap. I say buy as simple as possible. So manual gearbox, naturally aspirated if possible, preferably as little safety systems as possible, and as weak as possible. You don't want anything powerful. You don't want to kill yourself. You want to drive around, you want to learn how to drive the car, and that's it. You don't want any electronic nannies. You just want to learn how to feel the car, how to drive the car, how to control the car in different road situations, and chances are that if this is not a very powerful car, you may just come out alive out of it. Yeah, okay? I think that's pretty much self-explanatory. So another thing, I would go for a relatively reliable car. Maybe, just maybe, I'm saying a Japanese car. Yeah, I know they're rusty, but at the same time they're usually reliable as far as the engine goes. I'm not sure whether you want a project car, because a project car is something you will spend a lot of time on, and I'm sure you can fix it and all that, but then you learn how to fix your car, but you don't learn how to drive it. So buy something reliable that you're going to spend time in driving actually, rather than lying underneath it. I mean, fixing a car, knowing how to fix your car is great, I'm sure, but it's not necessary. I mean, I don't have the patience for it, for example, so I like my car to just work. As simple as that. If you have another opinion, as I said, there is no right or wrong opinion here, but I assume that since you're asking me what first car should I get, this is my answer to you. Anything else? I think the car should not be small. So, for example, here's a Toyota Yaris that just passed me, and that I think is too small. Bigger cars, whether it's a compact or maybe even a family car, they usually get more respect on the street. So it's going to be easier for you. You'll also learn better how to park. So I think that's cool as well. And yeah, drive it for 3 months, for half a year, for a year. And once you learn how to drive with that, and once you learn what's good in this car and what's not good in this car, you'll be able to make a more educated choice in the future. And yeah, possibly don't buy something that looks sporty, because it's probably not very reliable, because someone who bought it also bought it because he or she thought it was sporty and probably drove it in a sporty fashion. So you don't want that. It's not going to be very reliable. Yeah, so I think this is sort of your basic information. I hope this gives you a clue as to what car to buy. Again, thanks a lot for helping me, for supporting me on Patreon and PayPal. Don't stop, because it helps me. I'm thinking about a road trip, and the money I'll be collecting right now will be towards this road trip. So thanks again, and I'll see you soon in another episode. Oh, by the way, I almost forgot. If you have more questions about what cars to buy, more questions on sort of general automotive issues that I could discuss with you, that you would like me to discuss with you, then feel free to ask. And thanks to these two cameras, I can now do more videos. Now, I will be posting some of the videos in one language only. I'll try to do subtitles whenever possible, if it's in Polish, but sometimes when it's like a first reaction video, or when it's an interview in Polish, obviously it's going to be in one language only, so don't mind that. But I will try to post as often as possible also in English, so that we can all understand each other. All right? So thanks a lot again, and see you later. By the way, I'll try the line lock now. You'll see it in a review later on.